Hello. Yeah, that looks better. Turn that up a bit, maybe. And then... why is my camera not here? Okay, that looks better. Hey, everyone. Good morning. Who's the 9 a.m. lecture in person? That's early. That is early. Okay. Last term. All right. So, oops. What's my eye? Some housekeeping. Congrats on submitting iteration 3. Hopefully you all got over the line. That was the last big group iteration. So, congrats. I know it's been a bit of a slog for a lot of you. I hear all the feedback and all that. Everyone's busy and tired, but you've done a really good job if you were able to submit. And hopefully, even if you weren't able to complete iteration 3, you got some of it in. So give yourselves a pat on the back. You've done a really good job. And yeah, as you all know by now, especially those of you who are joining live, there's iteration 4 that's coming out today, basically. But that's in place of the exam, and it's about the equivalent amount of work if you count the prep and the exam time than the exam. But it's probably a little friendlier because you can do it when you like, and you're just working on the project yourself. So to ask some common questions, some frequently asked questions, if your group, for whatever reason, didn't quite finish iteration 3, or you think your iteration 3 is at a point where it's going to cause you problems for iteration 4, that's not a big problem. Just speak to your tutor, and we can actually provide you a fresh start for iteration 4. So we don't want you to, so that shouldn't affect everyone. But if it happens to be that case, that's what we can do. So that's sort of answering Ant's question there. So if you don't complete everything in iteration, it depends actually. You should speak to your tutor. Some functions might cause you problems, some might. There's really a small amount of spec questions in iteration 4. So SB's asked, let me turn this down a bit, it looks a bit high. To get a high mark in iteration 4, do we need to do one hardish feature, or can we do multiple easy features? Still spending around 20 hours. That's a good question. I think the safe bet is to speak to your tutor when you get the idea approved in this week. It depends. Like, a few smaller things, I don't have a problem with it, but if they're really, really small, maybe. But if they're adding up to 20 hours, that sounds fine to me. Can I do something that doesn't really rely on the previous iterations, like making a new web page or total new functions? Absolutely. Yeah. You don't need to. You probably will build on what you've already got. It makes sense, but it's not necessary. With the new functions we make, we won't have to code the front end too, right? How do we 100% know that it works? So when you make your 3-minute video, for example, if you don't want to touch the front end, which is fair enough, you could just hit the endpoints from your endpoint testing software and hit them in order. So you could authenticate, blah, 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 hit that endpoint, and show, show what the backend's returning. Does that make sense, Charlotte? So simulate it. Perfect. Okay. All right. So, something I wanted to remind everyone. So again, the My Experience is out, and it's really important. And as something for a bit of fun incentive that I usually do in my courses, we have these like a battle pass, unlockable rewards for My Experience. So basically, what this means is we can see the completion rate of the My Experience form, which I'll show you live right now. Oh, only 14%. Not great. But most of them get done this week, so that's okay. If we hit 65+%, Yuchao and I and maybe some tutors will do a live stream. Yeah, we can where we'll have a chat on a call, play some games or something like that. 75%, maybe Yuchao and I will get together and do a tea tasting stream. And 85%, we don't know. We've never actually hit 85%. It's unlikely we will. So it's a bit of a stretch goal, but a pizza party sounds good. We could do that if we hit it. So rally all your student or your friends or your group members to complete My Experience. We're at 14%. Maybe this should be like 55, 65, 75. But we'll see how we go in a couple days. And if you have some other ideas for these rewards, let me know. And if they're better, we'll swap some out. Prepare for the first 85. We'll see. Okay, so please complete My Experience. We've already spoken to Death about that. All right, the instructions for iteration 4 will come out today. So, yeah. Now, today's actual content, if we look at the web CMS outline, I wanted to run something by you all. So, we have discussed iteration 4 a little bit last week. And for the bonus content, we've got front end and building an MVP. Now, these will both not take a full lecture each. So what I was thinking is we will answer any questions about iteration 4, of course. Then today, we do the web front end bonus lecture. We do the MVP bonus lecture. We talk briefly about sort of next steps in software engineering for all of you, and not so much academic discussions, but actually going off and potentially building things of your own, talking about, experiences in building systems. And then we finish the lectures today, and tomorrow you get the lecture off to work on iteration 4 instead. So you don't have to come in if you're coming in or watch the lecture. You just get it for free to work on iteration 4 or do whatever you want to do with it. So you get tomorrow's lecture off. Does that sound good? I know you've all been under the pump, so I thought maybe you'd appreciate the 2 hours. What do you think? Which would mean today's our last lecture. Yeah, that's right. Unless you hit the My Experience unlocks and then we have more content. Bonus lecture tomorrow, do you mean, Pav, or today? Pizza party, we'll see. Well, that's we can do a poll. This is what I was thinking. I thought you'd all appreciate the 2 hours, but you're more sad to leave us. I'm sad as well. It's been a great term. I know we've pushed you guys, but you've all learnt a lot, and it's been really good. Okay. When you hit My Experience. Exactly. Okay. So maybe I was thinking something a bit different for the web stuff. Well, first of all, tell me if that sounds good. I'm not really getting a clear signal. We don't have to do that, but I think the majority of you will appreciate the few hours. What I was thinking... Here's what I'm thinking for the web. So we did a bit of web last week, and it was like really plain HTML, JavaScript, and TypeScript, and CSS. But modern web development is done using frameworks, and there's a lot of different frameworks. I know a couple, but I don't know all of them. But as something a bit fun, because it's a bonus lecture, we'll do a poll. You guys can pick the web framework that we use to build some front end today in like 40 minutes or however long it takes. And we will just use it and learn it together if it's one that I don't already know. So does that sound good? So popular web front ends 2023. Let's do this. Sam Solutions, you got the top link, you get the first click. In fact, let me just do a poll here. So which framework should we do today? So we've got React, Angular. We're not doing jQuery. Vue. So I guess I am picking. Now, I've never heard of the rest of these. Ember.js. Oh, I can only ask 4 questions? That's weird. Oh, maybe Svelte is a better one. I've heard Svelte is really good. So that's a good 4. Now, as a recap, I know Angular a fair bit, so maybe that one's boring for us. And I've done a little bit of React. Now, someone was asking which... Don't tell me this is going to ask me to log in. Okay, let me do this in another tab. Okay, 23, 1. Okay, none of this matters because I think everyone wants React. Okay, and this poll. Okay, cool. React it is. Just trying to find where the front end is. Here we go. So it looks like the source. It's React. The web front end for the course is React. Okay, React. All right. So I've done a bit of React, but I can sort of just show you how I would, tackle taking on a new project for the first time, sort of thing, like looking at a big library, something like this. So interestingly, so we can go to learn. We don't really want to do that. How do we get started? Show me get started. Get started. This is still learning. Installation. Okay. Start a new React project. If you want to start a new app or website fully with React, we'd recommend picking a React-powered framework popular in the community. Framework providing features most... Okay. So we need Node. That's fine. We have Node. So interestingly now, I've actually... Yeah, this is... React has changed the documentation website very recently. They used to give you like a React starter app, which is probably what our iteration front end used. Now they actually recommend using a framework that uses React. And Next.js is by far the most popular. So I'm assuming we'll do Next.js. Yeah, it's like a framework. So React has become like a lower level framework, which you can still use. But they typically recommend these more featureful frameworks. However, if you compare it to something like Angular, Angular is more like Next than it is like React. Angular comes with a lot of stuff that we need. Anyway, let's use Next.js because it is really cool. So this tells us some command we need to write. Does everyone know what npx does? Okay, let's go make the front end cd to front end. Make this a bit bigger, I think. npx create next up. Yeah, it's like a shortcut for npm run. All right, would you like to proceed? Go yes. What is your what are we building? What are we going to build? What are we going to build? A Google clone. I don't know about that. Did you hear my Google Home just get triggered? A chatbot? You know, we can actually do that. We can do a chatbot and use the ChatGPT API. We can do that. We can try. CSC chat. Oops. Did I just break that? I think I just broke that. Yeah, I've got an API key though, Ant. Yeah, we can do this. All right, CSC chat. Let's yes, definitely. Let's TypeScript. Let's use ESLint. Let's use Tailwind. Sure. Yes, I don't mind a source directory. Would you like to use an experimental app directory? I don't know what that is, so I'm going to go no. Import a whatever. I'm just going to do default options for all of this. Okay. You know what then? If we're going to do this will take a bit longer. So there was slides for bonus web front ends. We've already talked about all of this last week. Remember, there's HTML, there's CSS, there's JavaScript. None of that changes with the framework. We just get a lot more tools to do things more efficiently. These run in the browser, blah, 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 blah. We've done this. We spoke about this last week. If you want to go watch last week's lecture, do that. The second bonus lecture was about creating an MVP. So instead of talking about creating an MVP, why don't we actually create an MVP with React using the ChatGPT API and see how far we get today. So the whole idea about this bonus lecture is that if you want to test an idea, if you got an idea for an app, a solution, or something, the best thing to do is to build the smallest demo of something that makes it clear what the bigger idea is so you can show other people and do it. It stands for minimal viable product. It's right here. Build the smallest thing that can demonstrate the value of what you want to build. Even if it's clunky, it doesn't scale, some of it's faked. Build it so that you can talk about it, check how it compares to the market and all of that. And that's what we're going to do practically with this project that we're going to build. Like a game concept, exactly right. And if you're interested in game design, in T3 this year, for the first time in many years, Sasha Vassar is resurrecting a game design course. So all about game design. I think there's going to be game industry people, but it's got I think it might have a bit of a waiting list, but just to remind everyone about that. Okay. So it's a game design, not game development. So it's not game programming. There's already a games programming course. So we run that npx command and it generates this project structure, which is generating this Next.js app for us. Okay. Let's go to the React documentation. So it says create a Next.js thing. Let's go to the quick start. Oh, tic-tac-toe could have been fun. But this is probably more fun. Okay. Let's have a look through this project. So we have node modules. You'll all know what node modules are. That's the same for the project you've been using. It's where all our libraries that we're going to be using are. Public is where the generated website will be hosted once we develop it. And source is where all the actual source code that generates the website is. Now, we have this pages thing. In pages, there's API, app, document, index. And then in styles, there's some styles. The way Next works is really cool. Any file in pages becomes a route for the front end. So if we look at the README, it will tell us how to actually develop it. So first thing, run the development server. Before we even have to do that, I don't know why it's not missing there, but we need to do npm install. It's already installed. Okay. Then we can go npm run dev, it looks like, to run the development server. So it's going to start this React server. Gives me a URL. I click the URL, and if it all worked. Okay, cool. So this is running on localhost. So this is the project we've just started, and it's given us this pretty nice, actually, React homepage that we can start developing from. Cool. Interestingly, the way it works, so this index.tsx file, so it's a TypeScript file, a special type of TypeScript file that lets us put HTML in some templating. This actually contains all of the code for this page. So somewhere to say get started. Yeah, get started editing. And then it's got source page index.tsx. But it's a really nice, like, basic page. Now, when you're developing web apps like this, if I want to create, for example, a button or a text input or something like that, there's two types of families of components. There's the built-in to HTML components, like a HTML input. So we could use one of these input tags and we would get an input. Try it yourself. And we would get an input like this. But these look really ugly. They're feature complete, but they don't sort of fit into the ecosystem. So these frameworks like Next.js, like Angular, they build UI components for us. So we can use those Next.js UI components called Next UI. And all of these components we can import into our project and start using. So if we think about building an MVP and building this project, this CSC chat application, what are we going to need? We're going to need a way to type text and a way to display text in some sort of UI. Do we all agree with that? So what I would be looking for here is like an input component, which is one here. And this is the same in like all the different components. And it tells us how to import it and how to use it. And this is what it looks like. So we can go through here and find an input that sort of looks like what we wanted to do. We can have passwords, we can have multiple sizes. I think like an extra large or a large one, this is where we'll talk to our chat would go. I think this one looks good. The one that's large. So we will copy this. Now this index.tsx, we can, let's see here. Just replace index.tsx probably. Okay, this stuff here that looks really weird is something called Tailwind, which is a really popular way to style components now. So rather than putting stuff in a CSS file, you can actually use the Tailwind library to style your components on the front end. Is the index.tsx file like the main template for the rest of the front end? It's all the code for this page. It's not the template for the whole. If I make a new page or a new file, it'll look completely different. Okay, so Tailwind is kind of weird because it adds such long class names, but it is what it is. Yeah, so it's HTML, CSS, and TypeScript all in one file. Exactly right. Exactly right. All right, so what we want in this middle where it says next.js, which will be here, we want to delete this image. And we want to put that input. And then the other thing is we need to import the input. And that's at the top of the file. And we need to install it. Yeah, JSX would work as well, but I asked to configure it with TypeScript. So I'm installing the next UI components. Okay, so that's installed. That's been found. That's nice. If we refresh this page, we have this input, which is what we wanted, and it's sitting next to this Next.js thing. So we can delete that logo, I think. And then what if I put it up here? No real difference. So I think this is just centering it. Although it's doing a lot. I don't know what it's doing. Oh, this is adding that blue drop shadow thing. Which we can keep for now, that's fine. And then how do I change the color of it? Because it's just a bit gray and I want it to be white, but for now it's fine. Okay, what else are we gonna need? So we type in our prompt here, hello. We need like a button. Let's get a simple button. Simple button that can go maybe after the input. I know it looks silly, but you know, this is the idea of an MVP. So you type your input here, you click this button, this can just be send. We can get an icon for it later. And then we need a place for the response. So we need something to display the response. We could do something like a card. Cards are cool. So cards are just a way to group a few little things. So you can have a basic card. You can have a card with, you know, this title, stuff like that. You can have really nice cards with backgrounds. Those look nice. Next UI is very pretty. Let's get something like this one, I think. Yeah, let's get something like this. And put it above, like here. And we need to install card. Oh, and we need text. And row, apparently. Oh, we don't want a row. Not yet, at least. Whatever. Let's see what it does. Okay, so there's the card. In fact, we could put it all in the card, couldn't we? We can put all the components in the card. So we could, that could be chat, that could be the content of the chat. Make that scrollable. That could be the input, that could be the agree. That makes sense to me. Looks a bit nicer. that to be small. That'll do. So it would send that and it would replace what goes in there. Oh, it doesn't like that. Interesting. Okay. Let's delete. Let's clean this up a bit. Delete that down the bottom. Make it a bit simpler. Okay. Now I'm regretting using Tailwind. It's really quite ugly. Quick fix. What does it want me to do here? Like this? Okay. Whatever. If it makes you happier. All right. So what's next steps do we think? When it comes to languages like C and Java and this frameworks like this, are they actually owned by anyone? Oh, that's a really good question. It's all different. So, for example, C is not owned by any company. There's who owns C language? Well, Dennis Ritchie designed it. At the moment, I think there's like a community of people that all work together. Like a technical committee. They get together, they vote, and different people have different companies have different people on the committee. So it's a committee-based one. That's like C++ is also committee-based. React is open source, but it's owned by Facebook. I think they created it. Next.js is its own company that's using React. Yeah. So we need to capture the input. Yeah, I agree. So we type something there. When we click send, we can just maybe if we just console.log the input. So what we would do is look at this input component and find how we can like bind to it is what we want to do. And binding is a very important idea. Let's go a bit more simpler. That's just all how to style it. So it's got this value attribute, and I think if we bind to the value attribute, we get access to the content of it. So we find our little input here, and we say that the value is equal to my input user. We'll call it the user prompt. Now this is going to say that it doesn't exist. Okay. Now here's the part of React that I really don't like the most. But so React read value of input, for example. How do you get the value of an input field in React.js? This looks old. That's so much. Let's go to the quick start guide here. Okay. Displaying data. Okay. Yeah, you're not going to get sued for doing that, for making your own version of the C language. Okay. Yeah, this is what we need to do. We need to do this use state thing. Now you can declare a variable in a state variable in your component. I think this is what we need. We need a state variable for the input. So let's use this. So we need this use state thing. Then we need to make the state must be called in a function, I think. Something like here. And it's going to be the user prompt. And then we want set user prompt. And we start off with an empty string. I think that's the format of it. I'm not a React expert. If someone here knows better than I, let me know. And I think what this does is gets us access to a string, because we're assigning a string to it, that is bound to the user prompt. I think that's how that works. And then I think with this button on a click, what we can do is console.log user prompt. Whoops. No, it doesn't like that. It's missing a bracket. So next UI button on click. What does it want? It wants a function. Press event. Oh, I think we can just not have that there, and that's okay. Okay, so when the button is clicked, log the user prompt. Let's see if that actually works. Puts that. Oh, that's not working. I mean, that log did work, but it's not letting me put anything in the user input. So that's not ideal. Next UI, input bind. Whoops. What, did Chrome just crash? I think Chrome just crashed. That's really cool. That was weird. Are we back? Are you still here? I can see something's going weird with the mic. Okay, pop out. Are we back? Are we good? Hello? 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 I think we're okay. All right. Yeah, so Charlotte, that's sort of what we're going to try and do today, because we're going to get the input and then give it to ChatGPT. Okay. All right. So React bind state to input value. This does a value. Oh my God, we can ask ChatGPT. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Sure, let me log in. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, with a React Next UI input, like so, how do I bind to the value to state so I can console log it on a button click? You can use a use state hook. Okay. That's what we've got. We've got that. User prompt, set user prompt. Handle button click, we've got that. We just did it in the button. This is what we're missing. Handle input change, set user prompt. So, okay, interesting. All right. ChatGPT is going to pull through here. This is what we want. So we need a function that we call. Let's just give this any. We need a function that we call that calls that set user prompt, which is how we update the state when the input changes. And then in the input itself, I think we need to bind to onChange. Yeah, exactly. Okay. That makes sense to me. Let's just refresh the page. Console.log. Keep the console open. We can type stuff in it. Now, because it's bound to it, it's changing. And then I go send. So send didn't work. OnClick is deprecated. Please use onPress. Interesting. Oh, why is that gone there? OnPress. Let this refresh. Hello, hello, hello. Send, and then we get it out in the log. Very nice. Yeah, it's like a friend that Googles for you. That's a good way of thinking about it. Okay, that's really cool. That's very cool. Now what we want, I think, I don't know if this is a good way of doing it, but we want ChatGPT responses. We want to set the ChatGPT responses. And we want this to be no, maybe not. Well, let's ask ChatGPT. In React, how should I store an array of objects as state? And do we just give it an array? Yeah, we just give it an array. That's what I was going to do. Because every time we have a prompt, we need to get back some string. I think that's fine, just like that. And then, where was the React documentation? They had something here with an array. Products is like this. Okay, this is what we want. Something like this. Okay, let's not overcomplicate it. Now we need to connect to ChatGPT because we get the input. ChatGPT API for Node. OpenAI. In fact, maybe we can cheat here because I have done this before. Here we go. So we need to install this library. That's the other thing. I got to make sure I don't share my API key. And then the other thing I might do. Oh, that just replaced the window. That's really annoying. But I just want to check. Okay, let me show you. So I've already got some Java, some TypeScript. ChatGPT.ts, I think. So I've already got some TypeScript that connects to ChatGPT's API. But I can't show you the key. So I'm going to describe what it does. It's really simple. Prompt is a string. In fact, we don't need that, I think. So basically, you just import these two things from the OpenAI library that we installed. You have your prompt base, which for now we can sort of ignore. There's an API key that I'll have to put mine in, but I'll do that off screen. We can load up that configuration into the OpenAI object, and then we have this function to ask ChatGPT. You give it a prompt. It's using GPT 3.5, and it puts the content in as your message, as the message, and then it returns the first response back. So it's really simple, as you can sort of see. Now I just got to get this off screen, and I got to make sure that I never show that. Oh, I just showed it. Oh my god. Now I got to clear that API key. Yeah, but someone will go pause the video later. Oh god, why is this taking me so long? No, that's alright. I better just... It's not bad. I just need... Sure, sign up. Why am I logged out? Okay. Oh, this is a different account anyway. This is a different account. I've never used these. Yeah, you can use this API for iteration 4. Oh no, hold on. This does matter. If you don't do what I do. Might be here. Lovely. No, it's not here either. Where did that come from? Does this have, hold on, does this have payment on it? Billing? Yeah, I am. Okay, so it was here. It was this one. So I just got to delete that one and hope for the best. And let me just make a new one. Create that. Oh, you're going to see this anyway. Let me do this off screen. Jesus, I'm really not doing well today. I trust you all. It's fine. But, you know, just in case. I don't want to wrap up a big bill. Okay, put that there. Put that there. Close that. Close that. All right. It's gone. Okay. I replaced the key. Okay, so the key is needed to connect to the API of ChatGPT, but it costs money. So if one of you gets it and uses it, I'm screwed. That's all. Or not even one of you. Like sometimes these YouTube videos are public. All right, but I have put it in there. So now we should be able to import ask ChatGPT from that at ChatGPT module, which I'm not going to open. Yeah, it charges a little bit per question. Yeah. Yeah, so we have this ask ChatGPT function now, which if you remember goes off and asks, yeah, I just killed the keys. I've already killed the keys. I just killed them off screen. All right, so now what we want to do, when the button is pressed, in fact, let's have a function here. Const send button pressed. Whoops. We want to, yeah, I mean, God, this is just AI driven development, isn't it? We get a response from asking ChatGPT with our prompt, and that prompt is the string in the input. Perfect. Now, what is this not like? Yeah, that responds with nothing. No, what is this one? What's the problem here? Variable send button press explicitly has any because it's a function, or because it's a function. Const function. What's wrong here? Const, yeah, I don't need that. Oh, okay. Send button pressed equals that function there. This might need to be an async function. Where does that go? Does that go here? Yep. So when I send the button press, that I want to replace that. Yeah, we don't actually need that there. And that's a function which calls that function. I think that's the way you have to do it. All right, in this function, let's just go console.log the user prompt, make sure that that's all working. Then we ask ChatGPT, we get the response, and then let's, if that works already, that'll be pretty good. Log the response. Okay, where's my local host gone? Here, refresh. Okay, that's crashed, it looks like. npm run dev. Did the ChatGPT people use ChatGPT to help write? I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. All right, open up the console. We go, hey, we got to ask it a question because it might give us a response. Why is programming so hard? Question mark. There's probably going to be an error, but. Look at that. Ah! There you go. That's pretty cool. Which UNSW CSE course is the best? Let's see if it even knows what we're talking about there. And you can see there's a delay here. That's why we have an async function. Okay, I do not have personal opinions or preferences. A very diplomatic answer. All right, that's just console logging it, but we want to get the content in the actual card. This is the next thing that we need to do. So that's why we have this ChatGPT responses thing. When we we get this response, and then I want to do, oh my God, that's exactly what I want to do. That is what I want to do. It just doesn't like it because there's something wrong with the types. I want to somehow say that it's a string array. I guess that's how you would do it. No. Would that work? Maybe you can't do React use state with string array. Oh, okay, that makes sense actually. No, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, but that didn't help us here. Type string or undefined is not assignable to type string because response could be undefined is the problem. Okay. React assign string or I think we can do that and force it that it'll know it'll be a string. That looks good. And so it'll change that array to have it, which means that this card, the body, what we want it to be. Now, if we go back to the React documentation, which was here, they had a list here thing. Okay, we should be able to do this. Chat responses. Be a response, and then instead of that, it's just going to be a text with the response. Oops. Missing key. Can that just be a for each? I think, and then we just bind to chat responses in the card here. No, it doesn't like that. like that at all. Oh, I gotta return. I gotta return. Oh no, that should be. Okay, this shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to just do this down here. But that's not very nice. Equals a function which returns that, maybe. Yeah, if it starts with a capital letter, it's a React only it's a React only component. Yep. Exactly. All right, what's going on here? Is that it? And then chat responses. It still doesn't like it. I wonder how much of this is because it's TypeScript. Okay, maybe. It wants like a tag to be responded with. Needs to return a React node. Okay, that's annoying. Let's ask ChatGPT, I guess. Where is that gone? Oops. How do I display an array of strings in my React template? Yep. Okay. Oh yeah, I guess we could just wrap it in a div. Let's try this. So just something like this. Let's put this here. Whoops. That's what I wanted, but instead of this being a list, I wanted it to be a... Oh, we can do that. We can do that. Oh, but it still doesn't like it down here. Why not? Why not? What if I just put this here? Is that gonna work? Okay, sure. That works. I don't know what the problem was. Okay, so it starts off empty. We put something in it. We go send. There we go. Look at that. And then I think we can say, how cool is UNSW Sydney? Question mark, send. And I think it should add it, I think, if it's working. Okay, no, but we'd have to fix that. Yeah, exactly. All right. This is a pretty good start. What do we want to do, a lecture break and then come back and keep working on something to make it actually a little bit different? How many people are even? Oh yeah, 26. Nice. Sure. Okay, quick lecture break. Then when we come back, we'll just fix up a few things to make it like work a bit nicer. And then I think the cool thing is that we'll theme our chatbot. So it's not just coming back with the plain ChatGPT responses, but it'll be like some attitude or theme that we come up with. So I'll see you all in, let's say, 5 minutes. Yeah, it is really safe in its answers. All right. See you guys. Okay. That worked nicely that time. Weird. Are we all back? Finish off my tea. Oh no. There's a lot of grounds in it. All right, so what are we going to name our chat and how are we going to theme it? We need some ideas. By theme, I mean like, what style is it going to respond with? You know, like, do we know what I'm trying to say? Now, while we do that, there's a few other things I wanted to do. So, when we send the button, we ask it, we respond, we set the response, and then what we want to do is set user prompt to be empty. Yep. Can you all hear me? Hello. This can be deleted. Have I done something wrong here? Oh yeah, that just goes away. Let's test that. Refresh. Hey, test. Oops. What is the day today? Question mark. And then after it sends, it should clear the input. Yeah, which it does. Nice. Cool. All right. The other thing is we want to make this card a bit wider. Oh, there we go. That looks better. Even better. That look better. All right. This input, we want that to be flex start, like that. And the minimum width, how did they do that before? That didn't work. Input. Oops. Input. We want the width. How do we change the width? Let me just have that. Isn't that what I just did? Oh, I shouldn't have put it in there. The code. That's a good question, Fake Olive. I actually don't know. Show me bubble sort in C. I think it's going to be string. It's going to just be a string. It might put backticks around it. Did that not work that time? Pending still. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you get backticks. So that's like a code block in Markdown. So if we had more time and stuff, we could get a library that knows how to display code. In fact, it's really simple to do. If we get time, we can do it. Cool. Code mirror is like one that. Okay, so we need to theme this. We need to theme this thing. So how are we theming it? What are we going to call this agent, this bot? And the other thing, while you come up with some names and some ideas, when I put another chat in, I don't want it to clear it. I just want it to add it. So we go send button pressed. It calls this function. It asks the user, and it should be appending it to the end of the array. Why is it getting cleared? And what if we do... so this spread is what... so this is making a new array, taking the old elements, and it should be adding it at the end, is what I thought. This will just return a string or undefined. But we can push response as a string, and that should return the new array. Yeah. Let array equal number. Oh, returns a new length. Okay, so then we would just put that. But I don't know why that would work and the other one wouldn't. Hello, how are you? Are you sure? Okay, yeah, now it's working. Now it's working. Nice. Whoops. That's what I wanted. And then I can put a... Now there's this separator. No, what's it called? I've seen it before. I think it was on the card. Divider. So we can put a divider in between. So that's probably got to return a single. No, okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, put it in the. Put it here. That should be fine. Let's see. Oops, where is our local host? Alright, it's pretty ugly, but whatever. What does ChatGPT do? Oh, they do like these colored things. Whatever, this is fine. Okay, so now it adds it. We want to theme it. Sassy? We can do sassy. Any other ideas? That's like a style maybe, but what's the theme of it? Like, what's the purpose of it? And this card title. COMP1531. Bot. These separators are really ugly. Oops. Like, is it like a CSC course advisor? Is it, does it help you find new Steam games to play? Like, what we can do, all I'm saying is we can put something in the prompts that go up automatically so that it always has a certain theme in the way that it responds. I mean, like, we can ask it to be sassy. So for an example, yeah, evil, something like that. But what do we, yeah, okay, all right, let's try that. Okay. So we have this prompt here. So we always add, so we can always add some string to the prompt. Italian plumber. Okay. You are to, ooh, what was that going to say? Oh my God, look at that. Anyway, to answer in the style of an evil Italian plumber. And then we give it the prompt. It's a me, Mario. All right. Well, I don't want to get my API key banned. Okay, so let's refresh. So what should we ask it? What is an important course to take in a computer science degree? We could also add some sort of loading indicator. Let's see. It's going to be like, oh, there you go. Look at that. That's cool. Programming algorithms and data structures. I mean, he's not wrong. If you don't take the courses seriously, I might just have to come over and give you a lesson in respecting the power of technology. Capiche? That's hilarious. That's very funny. No, it doesn't sound like Chris Pratt, the fraud. Something else we can do that's just like this is like a nice to have on the button. We can have a loading indicator. Which one do we like? 1, 2, 3, or 4? And I'll show you how to do something like a loading indicator because it's really cool. I like that third one. That makes sense. Yeah, I agree. Because it's like it's typing. So what you would do for something like this, in the button, we have this send. Let's just for now put this loading there. We need to import loading. It's another React component. And by default, it will always be, I really got to clean up these tabs. It'll always be there. That's cool. What we need now is another thing here is loading. Set is loading, and it's going to be, by default, it won't be loading, so we can assign it false. And then we can say, when we send the button, we go set is loading true. After we have a response, should be here, we set is loading false. Then what we do is we say this, we want to do something like if is loading, we show the loading indicator, else we show the send text. And something's not nice about this, can't find. Okay, something like this. So what's another question that we want to do? In fact, this button, let's make it large so it fits. That looks better. I like the idea that it's the sassy course advisor. Yeah, that's cool actually. You could do something like that. So you could be like, you are to answer in the style of an evil Italian plumber to advise UNSW CSC students of which courses to take. New line. Courses are COMP1531, the best course by far. All students should take this. COMP1511, a great course because it's taught by Jake, the best lecturer in the world, sure. And then you can give it, what's another course? You guys can give me some courses. Give me some courses and some descriptions and I'll copy them in when we're done. We said is loading. We don't need to log that there anymore. All right, that's fine. All right, and let's just check this works. Okay, so for example, there's like CSE UNSW courses. Let's say, for example, there is whatever. I just need another. Here we go. Data structures and algorithms. Good course for those who want to say, okay. And then I say, okay, let's do that. That's fine. Let's go refresh here. And then I can say, for example, I want to learn from the best lecturer. What should I study? And if I go send, there we go. We get the little loading indicator. That's really cool. And then hopefully once it's loaded, we get the response. And then you get that. Ha ha ha, you want to learn from the best? Well, let me tell you, COMP151 with Jake is the way to go. It's the best lecturer in the world after all. And you get it all themed. And you get the response. And so you can sort of just, in very little code, if you have some information that you can encode in this string, in the prompts, you can... this is a pretty cool app. Like if you gave it a description of every course. Oh yeah, we can do it in a rhyme. That's what I mean. I mean, you can build your own in the style of a rhyming. Let's see if that works. All right, that's a good one for COMP1521. There was something weird there. All right, well, you get the idea, right? Refresh. So what do I ask it? What do we want to ask it? If you had to pick one course, which should I study? Loading, slow API. That's pretty cool. If it's me you need for any academic plight, just call me the evil plumber. I'll help you in the night. That's excellent. God, we're all very cool. Yeah, that's like, you can imagine how easy that would be to add. You just get some library that goes text to speech. I'm not teaching any second year courses at the moment, but things could change. Next term, I'm teaching 1511 again. Okay, well, if one of you wants to make a video of it rapping, that would be cool. Anyway, so what do we think? I think we did pretty good. We did some front end stuff in a framework that's actually quite new. This React and Next.js. Well, it's not new, but this starter is new at least. That was cool. We built an MVP. Like, you can see how you can expand this and put it on a public server somewhere, and prospective students could come along and ask it for advice on which courses to take, and it's got this like little weird attitude. That large is annoying. Placeholder, yeah. Ask Mario, the course advisor, anything about CSE courses. There you go. You get that there. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's right. We could do something like that, Fake Olive. We could do something like that. Only answer questions about UNSW CSE courses. Yeah. We can even go, you know what else we can do? UNSW logo. In fact, I probably got it somewhere, the UNSW logo. In fact, I know I do. Public. Here we go. Public. There. Instead of Vercel, we can do there we go. By UNSW. Yeah, so I mean, this is just using ChatGPT. So if you gave ChatGPT this big prompt every time you asked it a question, you would get the exact same response or something similar to it. But you would have to ask it this every single time, which we're not really doing much here. I mean, we've built it in not even 2 hours, right? We're just setting up the prompt and setting up some specific user interface and giving it some base information. Yeah. Is it true that 1511 now asks students to use VS Code right off the bat instead of gedit? Yes, that's true. That's a change we made in T3, I think, last year. There was, do you remember with gedit, like there was that problem where you had to give it an ampersand at the end? It was just like little things like that were causing frustrations, so we got rid of it. You can still use it. You can still use gedit. Yeah, Vim. Yeah, exactly. All right. So any questions? So this is it, everyone. If you missed the start of the lecture, I mean, we did both bonus lectures today so that you can get tomorrow off and work on the, Yeah, that's exactly right. Free within me. Yep. We're just feeding in that structured text every single time. And there's probably other ways to do it, but you can keep asking it, right? Like, should I do COMP1511? There's no server for this app, Fake Olive. The server is just ChatGPT. There's no backend here. This is just pure front end. And then so we get this response there. Okay, good question. So yeah, React and Next.js come with a server to run the front end. So the front end's running on a server, and it's serving the front end files like index.tsx and stuff like that. So a front end still needs to live. So when you were running, so yeah, when we gave you our front end, it was running on a React server. Yeah, it's just for dev purposes. When you're ready to deploy, you don't use this server. You get the static file. This is a developer server, actually. It's doing extra stuff to help me be able to debug and stuff like that. When you're ready for deployment, you sort of package up all the static files and then you'd put it on a static file server. But you wouldn't use this one. You would use something like Nginx or something like that. You don't need to use Express. Express is to create a server in your project. So you would use something like Nginx file server, or like Apache is the other one. Nginx file server for React static files, and then you would get some guides here for something like that. But if you look in the actual project, like if you quit this in the README, there will be well, you can actually deploy it straight to Vercel. In fact, we could do that. No, but then then my API key would be put publicly. Next.js is very cool because you can, like, in a few clicks, actually deploy the front end to Vercel, which actually might be a good idea to do. Oh no, yeah. Anyway, but usually if we go to the package, there's a build. Yeah. npm run build, and it will build the static files in this public directory. Usually we'll see if that's where it goes, and then you take that directory, you put it on a file server, and then you get the actual server. Yeah. No worries. I'm glad you enjoyed. Cool. Whatever, that did something. But what I'm going to do before I push this code up on the code directory for COMP1531, I've got to remove the API key. So if you want to use it, you'll just need to generate an API key for ChatGPT, and then you'll see where it should go in. It's in the chatgpt.ts file where it says API key, but it'll be empty. You replace it there, then it should work if you just follow what I did. All enrollment numbers are wild guesses. Lol. Cool. I think it is paid to use the API. ChatGPT 3.5 API cost. No, that's for ChatGPT Plus. It's 0.002 cents per 1,000 tokens. It's really cheap. It's really, really cheap. They might require a credit card though. So to get that API key, I had to get it from an account that I put my credit card in. But it's like super, super cheap. For, if you deploy it and then you're using it to make money, that's different, and you have a lot of users. But to finish off, why don't we put a nice message to our friends in other courses, like Sasha, for example. It's taught by Sasha, the best lecturer in the world. And then we can ask the bot, for example, who is Sasha? Yeah, you can generate, because they have free API stuff. So yeah, give it a go. Play around with it. And if you do put your credit card in, you can set a really low cost limit. So it never goes over like $5 if you just want to play around with it. There we go. I'll send this to Sasha. Have a play with it. Anyway, so guys, thank you all so much for the term. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've learnt a lot. I know we pushed you really hard, but with that push comes, you get to be able to create crazy stuff like this, and I think that's really cool. So a few more weeks left. Good luck with iteration 4. We'll release an announcement with some instructions there. Please don't forget to do my experience. It's really important. Does it really? The real ChatGPT does? Fake Olive? That's a bit concerning. What does it say? Nearly 15%. Oh, God. It's scary. ChatGPT knows who I am. Oh, crazy. I'll have to check that. It must have been updated. What was I saying? Yeah, thank you all so much. I had a good time. Software engineering is really cool. We get to be able to build crazy things like this in like less than 2 hours. I mean, it's really cool. So I hope you've enjoyed. I'll send an announcement today that the lecture tomorrow is not on, and we're giving you the few hours to work on iteration 4 or study for your exams or anything like that. But if we hit those My Experience numbers, we will have a bit more time together with some live streams and stuff. So, of course, this isn't the end. A lot more courses for you to take. Maybe I'll teach some of them at some point. We've still got the forum running, so I'll be in touch there. And if you want to add me on LinkedIn or something like that, just mention that you're a 1531 student, because I get a lot of spam requests. And I'll add you, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch with everyone. So I hope you had a good time. Thank you for those of you who came to all the lectures. I always really appreciate it. And yeah, good luck with everything. No, thank you all. It was great fun. I hope you had fun. See ya. Go build some cool stuff, make lots of money, and then give me a job in like 5 years and pay me a lot. That'd be good.